So, are you letting me talk hockey?
It's time.
It's time to talk hockey.
You deserve it.
I deserve it. I'm Doc Beisel, orthopedic surgeon with Move Smarter Health. We are sponsored by an educational grant from Kinesi Movement. I love sports. I love talking about injuries. I take care of shoulder and knee injuries, and I operate and treat on them. And please consider this an educational, informative video only. Here we go. Well, you know, it's interesting. I haven't been talking much about hockey. We've had some injuries. Things have been going on. And, well, it turns out I diligently watched hockey last year. And my team sucked. Oilers did great until they didn't, right? And so this year, it's almost like I had a love-hate relationship with hockey. I cringed at looking at the results and watching a game versus wanting to watch. And it turned out that not watching was actually good for the Oilers. Horrible for the Leafs. Who? Leafs? Who? What? Out. Yeah. Buffalo's in. Leafs are out. Chicago's out. Well, you know, it is what it is. But in any case, there's still a lot happening, you know. It would be kind of interesting if the Caps and the Penguins meet head to head. If that ends up happening, that would be kind of cool. Sidney Crosby, Ovechkin, last game possibly of both their careers. Well, I mean, maybe not Crosby, but more than likely of OV. But anyway, I don't count any of them out. They're rock stars. But what are we talking today? Who are we talking about? We are talking about Chabot. Ottawa Senators broke his arm, back in play in 2 weeks. What? What exactly was it? Well, we don't know exactly. You could do whatever search you want. Most of it just generalizes to say broken arm. Some data says it might be a wrist or a forearm. If it's a forearm, more than likely it's an ulna. You know, an ulna is the outer bone on this side. If it's a fractured forearm and it's stable, it's, a nice clean break. You put a couple of plates on it, it's solid, and you put some padding and a splint around it. As long as you don't get struck or twisted, you could probably do okay, because 80% of the function of the wrist and the weight bearing goes through the distal radius. And so why don't I just use this? Ulna, radius, ulna, radius. Okay, so how do they connect? So you've got the wrist like this, okay? So when you twist like that, this prominent bone, okay, when you pronate, comes up, okay? So this becomes more prominent, okay? And so this is the ulna, smaller bone up here, bigger bone at the elbow. It is the hinge at the elbow, taking 80% of the weight, but it is simply for supination, pronation, less than 20% weight bearing when it's at the wrist. So I'm not saying that is the case, but it's highly unlikely that it would be radius. I mean, could it be a small wrist fracture? Maybe it's a non-scaphoid fracture. If it were a scaphoid, he'd be in a scaphoid cast, and even if he had surgery, the risk of him playing with a scaphoid fracture would be way too high. So I think I would more than likely rule out scaphoid. Did you see how I said that? More than likely, so no one can get back to me and say I absolutely said I ruled it out, right? Gotcha. So if it's the ulna, oftentimes, you can plate it, it's solid, get back, and if you've got a couple of games and I think they are going to make the playoffs. I think they clinched it, actually. And so given where they're at, you want to play. And you want to play hard. And so I don't know why he didn't take more time off. But then again, we talked about biologics in a previous episode. So maybe he got some biologics and the fracture, and he just feels great and wants to come back. But if that's the case, it was more than likely an ulna, maybe distal forearm, where the bone is smaller, has less impact, and if it's stabilized, and it heals, and he had no other injuries, that could be possible. I doubt if it were a radius that he would come back so quickly. But we don't know. We know it's a broken arm. Now, if it were a proximal humerus mid-shaft, there's no way. I just the body checks, the hitting. I mean, you can kind of protect your forearm. He's a left-handed shot, right? So a lot of force here, stabilizing with this. The stick handling, though, he's probably got to adjust. All right, if it is his, ulna. But then the shooting is all on the left side, and he's right-handed. So basically, the stick handling, he may have to adjust. Now, hockey players are ambidextrous, so more than likely he will just have to learn to use it with the other side and figure it out, right? So that's what we know. I still hope Ottawa loses because they are not my team, but I hope Chabot does well, recovers, and watch him lose. Ha ha!